Working from home is not innately an easy thing because we have additional distractions and less accountability. By the time this video is done though, you're not only going to be more productive, but you're even going to have more fun working from home. Let's get moving. The first thing we're going to do is identify what you may have already done that might be setting you up for failure. Then you're going to have the opportunity to choose from a buffet of options that make you more productive. And then lastly, we're going to work on rewiring your brain so that productivity is your new normal. Here we go. If I can be honest, one of the more interesting things for me as a result of COVID-19 was how many of my friends started working from home. And it was fascinating because so many of them started saying to me, how do you get anything done? This is so confusing and it's so hard for me to turn things off at the end of the day and my kids keep interrupting me. And so how do you do this? And it's interesting because as someone who's worked from home for well over a decade, who's married to someone who's worked from home from well over a decade, who has a team of people who all work from home, it's something I hadn't really given a great deal of thought to. And so I started to give my friends some advice based on what I saw worked for me and some of my other clients, and that's actually what I'm going to share with you. So my first suggestion is to have a designated space for work. If you want to work in a home office and you have that, that's great. If you have a home office closet, you know what that means. That means it's a closet you've turned into an office. No judgment. Work there. But what you don't want to do is start mixing work with other designated places around the house. Do you really want to work at the dining room table? Maybe, maybe not. Do you want to work on the kitchen island? Nah, probably not. Do you want to work in your bedroom? Do you work in the bathtub with your computer on the side? So you want to start setting boundaries so that your brain knows when you go into certain spaces, it's work time. Or when you're in other spaces, oh, it's time to relax. So start thinking about, where is the laptop not allowed to go? Where are you not going to check those business emails even on your phone? Designate space within your home for where you do and do not work. That's tip number one. The second tip is I want you to identify firm work hours and then go ahead and share that with friends, family, coworkers, and your seniors at work. I know that might sound hard because everyone wants to have access to you at any point in time, but the only way for you to be productive at work and to have some of your own free time is to set firm boundaries. What's interesting is that after 2020 especially, we started to see more people around the globe that were having issues with turning off work. And so you had countries like France that actually enacted laws that made it illegal for employers to expect their employees to communicate at the end of the workday, right? So there's actual end working hours. After that time, that's their people's time. You want to start doing that as well so that your children, if you have any, your mates, if you have any, they know when they can't have access to you, as well as those people on the job. And again, I know that sounds difficult. I'm not trying to make this sound like it's overly easy, but it is necessary. Now, this next tip that I have for you is actually my favorite, and that is develop your own productivity system. And when I say develop your own, I don't mean you have to make it, but identify the system that'll work for you. So for instance, I'm a checklist girl. I love checklists because if I check something off, I feel like this wonderful feeling. I'm pretty sure dopamine is being released. In fact, there is kind of a neurological reason behind my satisfaction with these checklists. And that's the fact that humans have something called a gratification bias. We tend to prefer things that will allow us to feel better and get that little dose of dopamine in the short term versus the long term. So when I check off something on a list, I'm saying, ooh, I did that. It's the same reason why gamification works for people losing weight or doing all types of learning activities and certificates, right? It's the same type of thing. So if you're someone who's led by your gratification bias, having a checklist of items that you're going to do daily might be the mood for you. So for me, at the beginning of the day, after I meditate and stretch, I create my checklist for the day. Now, this doesn't necessarily coincide with my calendar. There's other things that have to be done, but literally everything that I need to really do during the day goes on that list, and all day long I could check it off. Now, some people might do a physical list. There's even tools like Todoist, which is an app that's all about checklists. Me, I use Evernote because I use Evernote for other things, and so I have the ability to create a checklist and just tap on items as I complete them. So for me, that is my productivity method that works. Just a simple checklist. But there's other options as well. Some people use the Pomodoro technique, which has to do with doing an activity for like 20-minute increments, then having a break, and you block it off into little increments. Other people divide time up into another way. Maybe you work on a particular thing for an hour, and then after that, you stop and do something else. Some people block their entire schedules during the day so that there's no actual free time during work, but everything's assigned. And as they move through their blocks, they feel like they're getting things done. You have to think about which one of these systems works best for you. Not your best friend, not your coworker, not your mate. Which one of these work best for you? And choose one to help you be more productive and so that you actually feel like you're getting things done during the day. If you're already working from home and there's some cool things that you found have worked for you, I would love for you to go ahead and put in the comments section, what's your #1 work from home tip? What's something that you've done that's really made working from home either more productive or more pleasurable? Let us know. So this next tip I have for you is something that I think is really important, and typically we're not the best at it, and that's to create a rewards system. What do you get if you stick to the Pomodoro method all week long and you get everything achieved that you're supposed to within that block? What do you get if you check off everything on your checklist for an entire week or 2 weeks? Do you give yourself some type of treat? Maybe you treat yourself to ice cream, maybe you get a pedicure, maybe you buy yourself a video game. What is it that you're doing to reinforce these behaviors? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I don't need any type of reward. I'm just doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I hear you, but your brain actually reacts based on reward systems. And so when we reward ourselves for certain behaviors, it reinforces in our brain that we should continue to do those behaviors. So take the time to figure out a reward. Figure it out now. So don't, once you get something done, say, okay, it's been a week, I'm going to go do this. But actually have a reward already designated before you start doing the activities that will result in you being rewarded. That way you have an alternative goal outside of just getting things done. You know you want that little treat. You want that little reward. And maybe even give yourself a big reward if you accomplish a certain amount of productivity over the quarter or over a 6-month period or whatever period of time works for you. Now, share something with you that I did not do until 2020, but it became really important because we weren't interacting with people as much socially. I learned to take 15-minute fun breaks, whatever a fun break is for you. So for me, I would actually stop in the middle of the day and I would start dancing, and I'd learn all kinds of new dances from around the world. My husband used to think it was hilarious because he'd hear this music blaring, he'd come and open my office door, and I'm just doing whatever's happening. Maybe I'm doing the robot or whatever else. But I would just have these fun breaks and it would reset my brain. Some people might want to stop and do a little bit of a puzzle. Other people might want to take a quick walk outside, let the sun hit their face. Whatever it is, take 15-minute fun breaks. Another thing that I do from time to time, I stop. I grab a few pieces of paper that, I don't need anymore. I roll them up. And then I sneak towards my husband's office and I just pelt him in the head with pieces of paper and run away. That's a fun break. Whatever works for you working from home, find something that you can do as a break that'll refresh you, it'll be a little bit more fun, and it'll reset you for the rest of the day. The last step here is to review your practices, review the things that you're talking about implementing from our conversation today, and then tweak it as necessary. So maybe the Pomodoro method doesn't work for you, so you need to try blocking. Or maybe blocking doesn't work, so you're going to try checklists. Or maybe none of those work for you and you want to look for a different system. There's innumerable ones out there. You can find so many more. But tweak until you find something that works for you, and then stick with it in the long run. Reward yourself for your productivity, and that's going to enable you to continue on being productive within your designated workspaces in your home. So we've talked about the future and staying productive going forward, but I do have some other future tools for you. Right now, if you go in the description of this video, you are going to see a link to download the Future Ready Playbook. What this is a book that's chock full of all kinds of activities that will help you prepare for the future and accomplish more of your goals, whether those are personal goals, business goals, or professional goals. Either way, there's something in there for you. So take a moment and download it right now.